Okay, the second part, I'm now going to put the body onto the top of the moulding that we've just created. So again, press the space bar, come back to the view that I actually want to work on, go to my sketch, click on sketch, click on my planar surface. Again, I'm going to draw a center line in. Just get in the habit of doing it. You don't need it all the time, but it's just a habit to do it, and it does help you out. So I know from the measurements that we have actually done, I did know in terms of the actual breadth of the plug, the body that we're going to do now is 38 millimeters. So I'm going to cheat. I'm going to go to the rectangular tool. I'm just going to draw a rectangle across. I'm not going to make any position. You see it's gone black already, but I've got no measurements there. And I've got to check also, if I just pick on that line, drag it up, you see it's not attached. So with it highlighted, I'm going to go onto the little UCS button, click on it, hold the shift key, and I'm going to say make coincidence. It drops down. And when I click off this, it's gone black, so I know it's fully defined. And I'm going to do exactly the same for the top. Okay, actually, rather than choose that point there, so go back to what I said before. Okay, I'll pick on that point there, hold the shift key down, and click on that line there. And I'm going to make that collinear. And it has gone black. Now, I know the dimensions I said before, smart dimension, from there to there is 38 millimeters. Okay, but notice I'm still undefined. So what do I need to do to get it? I'm going to make it symmetrical again around that line. So if I just click on there, hold the shift key down, click on the center line, click on the outer line, shift key off, and make symmetric. Okay, you saw it shift over to the right there. So I now know that I am defined. Now I've actually made a mistake. I've missed out one point, but I'll show you that in a minute, and it's to do with the planes. But before I do that, I'm actually going to put some radiuses in on these centers, and this time it swaps round. So if I go back to feature, go to sketch, go to this time sketch fillets. 10 is the default, but this time the 10 is down the bottom. Now you can either select the point or the line. It depends really on your mood and what you want to do. So just give that a green tick. Okay, I'm going to go back, sketch fillet again. It allows me to choose another lot. I'm going to change this time to 8. And I know that is the top section there and there. And give it a tick. So I now have the sort of outline of what I want to extrude. Now two things, you'll notice that's on that surface there. Now in reality this should have a draft angle on it. So I need to be off that surface. And I can't actually remember the actual depth of that, but let's say for now it is 6 millimeters. Actually, I'll just double check that. So using your verniers, just measure, it is actually 7 millimeters on there. So what I'm going to do is just come out of that sketch fillet, so I know that. I'm going to come out of that sketch, as I say, because that's not the sort of planar surface that I really want to use. I can do it from there, but I'm actually going to do it off that surface and back onto that surface. So I'm just going to take my little bar here, which means I can go back in time. So I'm just going to rise it above the sketch there, and notice it greys out, so it's as though it never happened. I'm then going to go to features, and I'm going to go to reference geometry, and I'm going to go to plane. I'm then going to click on that surface. Now the default offset is 10 mil. Well, we don't want that. I want that to be 7 mil. And notice that comes back in. So just give that a green tick, and I'm back to my tree where I was before. But this time I'm now going to pull my sketch 3, the bar history. So I'm going forward in time, but I want to get that sketch onto that plane. So I just right hand click over there, and there's a little icon here that says edit sketch plane. So if I click on there, you'll notice it's got face 1 selected. If I select plane 1, okay, and then right hand click to it, you see the sketch has jumped from that surface onto my plane. and it is absolutely spot on. Nothing else has changed, it's just the plane has changed. So now I want to go to features and I want to go to extrude boss base, and you'll see if I extruded then now it do it as a solid. For starters, I want to reverse this, so it's now going down towards this plane. I want to change blind to up to surface, that one there, and I want to make sure that merge entity is there, but I don't want the solid. Now there is a thing called thin features here, so if I click on thin features, okay, default again is 10, so it's saying that that wall thickness is 10, but I know for a fact it's not. It's actually 1mm, so I click on 1. Okay, but also notice it's actually in the wrong place. It's outside, I want it inside, so just go on the arrows, click it over on there, and I just give it a green tick. Now as I say, I've done that without any draft angle. I can put draft angle in later on, but be careful because it's not always feasible to do that. So I'm just going to press my space bar again, and I'm going to bring it around to that face there. Okay, default goes upside down, but you can swivel it around. Now also you'll notice when you actually measure that this surface here in the real plug is actually 1mm below this surface here. Very quick way to rectify that. If I go to my sketch, I click on to that surface, that's my planar surface. Go to sketch again, just to make sure I'm actually in a sketch. And this time I'm going to go to convert entities. And you'll notice that the perimeter line has actually been converted to a sketch. Absolutely ideal for what we want to do. So this time I go to features, but this time extrude cut. And you'll notice, see it's gone down there. By default is 3mm because that's the last one I used for a cut command. I want this to go down 1. So just highlight that, 1, enter. I'm happy with that, green tick. So just to double check that, if I press my space bar and pick an end shot this time, and go up to this little icon here, which is section view, click on it. Okay, I'll pull that round. It's actually gone on that end surface because that's where my 0, point was. If I just pick up on that arrow and push back, it gives me a section view. And there you can see we're actually 1mm below surface. Now just to double check that, okay, you do have a little toolbar up here. Now to get that, if you haven't got it, just go into here, right hand click, and it gives you a whole menu down. Make sure that tools is grade is switched on. If I do that, it takes it off. If I do this, it switches it back on. And the tool you're after is this one here, the little measuring tape. Click on there to highlight it. You can read that. Okay, I've read it so many times so I know what it is. I click on the outer one there, highlights that whole surface. Click on the inside surface. It gives me the area, the perimeter, but it also gives me the distance, the minimal distance of, the normal distance is 1mm. And you can check that by that purple line. So there's a little bit of sort of trigonometry that goes on to do that. So I know it's right. To come out of the section view, click on the section button again, and you're back to where you were. Press the space bar, and there we go, back to where we need to be on there. Now, before I do the bosses, which will be in another video, if you'll also notice that there is a sort of step in there, which again is another millimeter and is 3mm down. To get that, I'm going to do it a slightly different way. Well, actually the same way. It will look slightly different. So go to sketch. I want to do it in that surface. Again, I am going to convert entities. Entities to convert. It's going to be the whole outside perimeter. Click on there. I've got that. Go to features, extrude boss base. Now be careful with this, because I don't want the whole lot to be filled back in again. So again, I am actually going to go to thin features. Notice that's gone to the outside. Again, I want it on the inside, so just reverse it on the arrow there. But I want to offset it by 3mm from that surface. So go up to where it says blind, click on it, and then offset from surface. Click on the surface you want to offset it from, and then default is, well, 1 because that's my last command I used, and then go to 3. And there we go, you see it sunk down. Press the tick, make sure your merge result is there, green tick, and there we go, we have the solid. And again, if you want to check that, Go into my section view, default, you can see it there. Now in the next video I will start to put the bosses in before we go any further. So there we go, I'll just green tick that and come out of it, press my space bar and come up to the viewpoint that I want to go. Upside down, just change it round. And there we are, back to where I need to be. Okay.